All right, welcome back. Gonna do a pizza dough tonight from scratch. So you can get started. I got my trusty mixer. If you don't have the mixer, you can actually do this in a bowl by hand, but having the mixer helps. And so I start with the water. I got 1 2/3 cups of water, like lukewarm, not scalding hot, but like, again, just medium warm. And I'm gonna make about a couple pounds of pizza dough, and then 1 package of yeast. And I lost my yeast goes in. All right, yeast, and then you need a couple teaspoons of salt. 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of sugar. Sugar actually helps activate the yeast, so. Just puts on a low mix and just let that go for about 30 seconds, and then we'll come back and start doing the adding the flour. All right, I gotta get the water, yeast, and flour. I just want to help if you use a whisk too. Make sure you want all the yeast dissolved. Sometimes it tends to clump up in the water. And I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit of oil. Give another mix for 30 seconds. All right, I'm gonna start adding the flour. So again, I got my water, oil, and yeast in here, and I got the dough hook on the machine. And you need total about 5 cups of flour, give or take. So you kind of do it 2 cups at a time. So I'm gonna start adding. Again, this is about 1 cup. It's a little tricky with the splash guard, which you need because otherwise. All right, get that on low. You just want to start incorporating the flour with the water. At this point, you just kind of make like a pancake batter. Helps to get a get yourself a little scraper, and you can scrape it as you go. All right, that was about 1 cup. I'm gonna add my 2nd cup. Now it's low speed. All right, let that mix for about 2 or 3 minutes so it's smooth. I might just scrape the sides, and then we'll add more flour. All right, mixture's still going. I only added about half the flour, and it looks like a pancake batter. So it's just you add layers of flour at a time. Let it rest. Make sure it's mixed through thoroughly, and then we'll come back. We'll finish off, make it into a big ball, and then we gotta let it rest. All All right, we've been mixing for, again, 5 or 6 minutes, and it's now ready to, I think, take out of the bowl. So the easiest way to do this is take the hook off, getting all the excess off. Done with the hook. All right, there you can see the dough, right? The bowl, the size of the bowl is pretty clean. So now when I get it out, little flour in the cutting board. And again, it shouldn't be too sticky. So it seems most of it, the bowl's clean, right, relatively. If it's too thin, just keep adding a little bit of flour. Again, I got a little flour in the cutting board. Just gonna roll it into place. Kind of use the dough to mop up any extra flour. Okay, so there is a ball of pizza dough, but we're not done yet. You gotta let this rest for a good 10 or 15 minutes. So all you do is, you can use saran wrap, but I just take the bowl, cover over it, and then come back in 15 minutes and we'll start kneading it up. All right, been proofing for, at this point, only 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm just gonna try and mop up the rest of the flour. And what you want to do is you want to ball it up, so you kind of fold it over and then just pinch together. Back under the dome, and again, let it rest. Again, probably a good 10 or 15 minutes. All right, back in, just checking on the dough again. So at this point, it's probably grown about, I don't know, 10%, 20%. And the longer you let it rest, the more it's going to rise, right? I just want to kind of run it to. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it up individual. This is not one pizza, right? Pizza would take up the whole table, but I just want to kind of let it take its shape, which is going to be like that. Actually, at this point, I think I'm going to, instead of putting the bowl over it, go back to just use some saran wrap. Looks like a big loaf of bread. So I gotta let that proof for another few minutes, and then. All right, it's been proofing for, I don't know, good 10 minutes or so. So I think it's ready where I can start portioning it up. So one thing about this dough is you wouldn't want to make it and then like cut the hunk off, and then it wouldn't bake right away. I don't know why. It's the way baking works. So the best thing is to be the day before, the next day. So if I wanted to make a pizza, this would be best tomorrow. But what I do is I cut these up, I saran wrap, and I freeze them, and then I just pull them out the night before. Or you could just put them on the counter for a couple hours. So again, so kind of now it looks like a loaf of bread, right? And at this point, I got one of these trusty dough cutters, which are great to have for this. And I'm just portioning off what I want. You know, probably, I don't know, what is that? Maybe almost a tennis ball size. And that'll get you a nice, individual pizza. So that's, like, I should get about, I don't know, 7 or 8 out of this. That'll be a big one. There you go. So I got 1, 3, 4. I got 9. So now that they're portioned, all you gotta do is ball them up. So you just take them, and this is the technique. You just fold it with your hand. And then once it gets to a ball, then you just pinch it up. Kind of give it a little twist if you want. And then I just saran wrap it. So there's one. And you just repeat that for all of them. So again, you let the dough rest. Now you're kneading it again, so you wouldn't be able to, this wouldn't cook right. Again, it has to relax again, basically overnight. No pizza place. I used to work at a lot of pizza places. We make our dough. No, every pizza place, the pizza you're eating, the dough is made generally the day before because it has to rest again overnight. Just again, it's, you're kind of giving the dough a lot of abuse, right? So you're balling it up. And then the final step here, it'll kind of mold together on its own. Actually, on this one, I could have. There's probably just a tad little too much flour, but it doesn't hurt things. But you'll know when you're trying to knead it if it's not sticking together very well. I mean, it's flour on the cutting board, but it just helps hold its shape if it's a little looser dough. All right, I used to do this all day at work when I used to work in restaurants. All right, so that should be 9. 1, 2, 3. That's 8. So again, just saran wrap them. You can do big ones, little ones if you got kids. And these are great in the freezer. You just put it in the freezer. I wouldn't say, if you can eat them within a month, they should hold up. And you just pull out the night before you want to have a pizza, or a couple hours ahead of time. Again, you want to have it thawed out on the counter, and then you just cook them up. So one of my other shows, I'll show you guys how to actually cook them because I have my pizza stone. Maybe during the week, I'll get my pizza stone out. We'll fry one up. Okay, thanks. There you go. Figured I'd give you guys a freezer view. So again, I just saran wrap them. They just sit in the freezer. I can let them sit overnight. I'm not gonna eat these till later in the week, but if you could just make it now, you could put it in the fridge. But again, you want to let it rest for probably a good 10 or 12 hours. All right, I'll put this up, and thanks again.